James Blunt is James the Wine Guy. I have some wines coming up from Washington State. They're from Columbia Valley, 47 Hills, as well as Red Mountain. So stay tuned. I'll give you my thoughts and perspectives on these wines. Now, one thing this year, I've been delighted to try these wines. I've not tasted Aquilini Wines before from Washington State, so they have several different brands. So I'll be reviewing this, which is Dixie and Bass, as well as Be Human, and the last one would be the Roaming Dog wine line. Now, the beauty of these wines is they're Washington State, which I think is a high quality producing wine state in the United States. One of my biggest requests this year on wine video reviews is to do so under $20 or $25. And so I've really limited that to say $20 for the value price point hashtag, because people are seeking these price points out. It's a particularly difficult year. It's a year that people don't want to give up drinking wine, myself included, of course. And I think it's really a treasure and a beauty to find wines like this, because they do fit the bill. You're not, stepping down. You're really probably trying a new wine country, a new wine AVA, such as maybe 47 Hills or Red Mountain, and exploring this really wonderful state of wines. So let me show you this wine right here. This is the Sauvignon Blanc, 47 Hills. I'll stop for a moment just to show you the map, so you can see where 47 Hills is in addition to other wine AVAs in Washington State. This is a 13% ABV. So if I compare and contrast that, if I look at a lot of Napa Valley or California Sauvignon Blancs, you're gonna find them in a higher range, often in the 14 range. So $17 price point, high quality Sauvignon Blanc. And if you think you expect to have a Sauvignon Blanc to be very prototypical, maybe a very gooseberry characteristic, this is one wine that is far from that actually. It's gonna be a very different characterization. And it is noticeably on the nose here, white peach notes, yellow and green citrus, as well as flowers and moist stones. So none of those really gooseberry, New Zealand-esque characteristics to this wine. And so it's really fantastic for seafood and white pizza dishes and pasta dishes as well. And next, the palate characterization. So white stone fruit, yellow citrus notation, as well as earthy mineral notes. In addition to that, I would put some notation of oyster shell to be specific, so that salinity note comes through as well, in addition to the mineral note, and a hint of white flowers. This wine is 91 points out of 100 points. Next is a Cabernet Sauvignon. So here's Red Mountain AVA. It's a fantastic region for superb Cabernet Sauvignon. I've had some wonderful Syrah from Red Mountain in addition. And so this is a 2018 vintage, 14.5% ABV wine. This is 96% of this is Cabernet Sauvignon, 4% is Petit Verdot. I definitely like the touch that it's not 100%. It's a treasure to taste these wines in terms of its Bordeaux brethren, so to speak. And I think that makes for a fantastic, wonderful experience. Now this wine is tank fermented, barrel aged for 22 months in French oak. So nose of very rich red, black fruit notes, outdoorsy notes like forest floor, spice notes, and a bit of violet notation as well. And next, the palate characterization. So black fruit notes such as black plum, black cherry notes. Additional on this would be pepper, ground clove, a bit of espresso, and a hint of cardamom as well. So this is 92 points out of 100 points. And next is the Be Human. This is a Cabernet Sauvignon from Columbia Valley, 2018 vintage, 14.5% ABV. Now it's a $16 price point, which I think is an exceptional price point for a good quality wine from Washington State. Now this wine is expressive in terms of, it is not 100% Cabernet Sauvignon, which makes me very happy. Now this is 89% Cabernet Sauvignon, 10% Malbec, and 1% Petit Verdot. This is barrel aged for 18 months in 40% New Americano. So the notation on this in terms of the nose is rich blackberry confit, sanded wood, a bit of suede notes, as well as spice rack. Very nicely done. Next, the palate characterization. So nice acidity on this wine as well. So this is giving an expression of cassis, clove, espresso, and thyme notes, 92 points out of 100 points. Next is a red wine blend. So it's a really cool label. If you can probably see on here is a handprint. If I move it towards the light there, you'll see the handprint. Be Human wine, Columbia Valley. This is a 2018 vintage, back label for you to look at here. Now this wine is 44% Cabernet Sauvignon, 37% of this is Merlot, 16% of this is Malbec, 3% Cabernet Franc. So this is barrel aged for 18 months and 20% new French oak. It's a nice blend. Sometimes I get very skeptical of blends because almost everything but the kitchen sink is in there. But this is a nice true Bordeaux variety blend, and I think that's a nice characterization on this wine. I think it makes for a natural blend of a wine that is really appealing. And I think to me, when you have a wine like this, it's really the winemaker that comes through and does the trials to figure out the best combination. So here we go with this wine. So the noses, I think it's just, I can't help but notice a boysenberry note. So boysenberry is a cross between a raspberry and a blackberry. Additionally, I get some blackberry notes. So some red clay soil notes as well as violets and thyme, fresh thyme. And next, the palate characterization. So beautiful characterization of boysenberry, freshness of raspberry, black pepper, and bay leaf, 91 points out of 100 points. And here we go next. This is Romidong. This is Columbia Valley Cabernet Sauvignon. Bring it a little closer so you can see the label, and a 14.5% ABV wine. $13 suggested retail price point, an excellent price point. This is 88% of this is Cabernet Sauvignon, 11% of this is Malbec, and 1% of this is Merlot. Tank and barrel aged for 18 months. And nice high quality wine, very nice, beautiful dark garnet colorization, and nice wine overall, especially for the price point. I appreciate the Aquilini wines, especially for the Cabernet Sauvignons, are not 100%. They're blended with other Bordeaux varieties. That makes me very happy because I think that's really a very natural combination. It's a very compelling blend, and it's one that I prefer not to have, say, a Rhone variety mixed with a Bordeaux variety. I think they just are not really going to, maximize the experience, optimize the experience, as I might say, as I am saying actually. So fresh, red and black fruit notes, as well as suede, leathery notes, stacked wood, and spice rack. Next, the palate characterization. So black fruit notes of black cherry, black plum, as well as pepper notes, thyme, and a bit of cardamom notes. So this wine is 91 points out of 100 points. Next is the red wine blend. So this wine is 34% Cabernet Sauvignon, 32% Malbec, 31% Merlot, and 3% Cabernet Franc. This is tank and barrel aged for 18 months. So here we go first with the scent characterization. So remarkably different, I would say, than the Cabernet Sauvignon. So a lot of tart red fruit notes, clove, suede, and violet notes. Next, the palate characterization. So this wine is expressing red, black fruit notes, espresso, bay leaf, and clove. This wine is 91 points out of 100 points. So I think both these wines for $13 each, I think are considerable value. I think they drink nicely. They're to be enjoyed now versus later. And I think it's a wine that's, just something you want, inexpensive wine at the beginning of the week. You want a nice Monday or Tuesday wine. I think the Aquilini brand does a great job of producing fantastic, well-priced, high-quality wines from Washington State. So I'll put more information on the producer down below, and you can make a purchase directly from the producer and a receipt in your state. The receipts wines from Washington State. In addition to that, you'll find in the retail setting as well. Very nice to taste good value price point wines and not giving up quality, not giving up any sort of, good fruit. You're not sacrificing for a non-appellation wine. You're getting a really nice characterized wine, and I think each of these are thoughtful wines. So between videos, you'll find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and WordPress. Additionally, you'll find me in my podcast, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support, and I will see you in the next video. Salute.